A Song for Silas by Laurie Wick. Chapter 21. The small copse of trees had seemed like a good hiding place the night before when running from an outraged farmer with a shotgun. But as dawn began to light the sky, the joints and muscles of both men were doubting the wisdom of their decision. "You think it's safe?" "Yeah, I just hope nobody found the horses." "If we're going to get shot at, I'm going to ask for more money." "You just let me do the talking, little brother. You go shooting your mouth off and we'll be out of work fast." Okay, I just don't like sleeping out of my bed. Makes me sore for days." "Oh, stop whining. We got the money and that means we get paid. Come on, let's get back to town." Silas moved slowly in an attempt to relieve the ache in his back, brought on by a night on the living-room sofa. The piece of furniture was neither long enough nor wide enough to support his frame, and he had found little rest on it. The night before, Silas had made sure that both bedroom doors were open. Amy had slept through the night, but Grant had stirred twice. Silas had seen to his comfort both times, and once had given him more medicine. Grant had shown no pity on Silas as he described Amy's bout with the medicine. He laughed and told Silas that a man who had been allowed to stay the night in the barn a few years ago had given it to him. The man swore it would knock a cold or flu right out of your system. Grant had not had any suspicions about the contents until his next cold, but it had worked so fast that he didn't care what was in it. Amy, to his knowledge, had never used it, but then she rarely got sick. He had asked Silas to check on her then for his peace of mind. Silas had found her warm, but not alarmingly so. Knowing Amy was fine, Grant had gone back to sleep with the help of more medicine. Silas had returned to his temporary bed in the living room and asked God to heal both father and daughter quickly. Now it was time to do the milking, and with a quick check on both his sleeping patients, Silas headed outside. Amy stretched and squirmed under the heaviness of the bed covers. Something felt strange to her, but she was too sleepy to figure it out. Well, at least her head was clear. Last night, as she was fixing supper, she knew she had caught a cold along with her dad. She could not believe how fast her head had stuffed up. On impulse, she had taken some of his medicine, and being unsure of the proper dosage, had drunk several tablespoons. Amy's mind stopped in confusion then. The rest of the evening seemed rather vague. Well, no worry, really, she thought. It had obviously done the trick, with as good as she felt. With a sweep of her arm, she threw back the quilts and swung her feet to the floor. She stared down at her feet in surprise when she noticed she still had one stocking on. Catching sight of herself in the big oval mirror over her dresser, Amy saw that the extra weight in her bed had been her robe, and that her hair was still pinned up. A sudden vision of Silas carrying her through the door, and then of him untying her apron at the foot of the bed, made Amy's eyes go wide. She began to notice little things. The curtains were not pulled closed, and her clothes were thrown all over the room. And her Bible, it was closed. She always opened her Bible to the place where she was reading so she could reach right for it first thing in the morning. She reached for it now, and it somehow gave her comfort. "Oh God," she prayed, "you know what I'm thinking, but it just can't be true. Silas would never do that." Amy was by nature a level-headed girl. She now used some of her logic to calm herself. She would go about her normal routine and simply ask Silas when she saw him. Amy dressed, made her bed, and read her Bible. After she closed her father's door to give him quiet, breakfast was the next step in her routine. But all Amy's cool-headed thinking flew out the window when Silas came in from milking. Before even washing up, he came toward her with a wide smile and asked how she felt. To Amy's embarrassment, she flushed a fiery red and blurted out, "Silas, how did I get to bed last night?" Horror overcame her as Silas's own cheeks turned pink and he stared down at the toes of his boots. "Oh, no!" Amy's mind protested. When Silas looked up, he knew immediately what she was thinking. "No, Amy, no!" Silas was equally horrified. I just helped you with your shoes and apron. You got yourself ready for bed. You were falling asleep on top of the quilts, and I tucked you in. I swear, that was all." Amy looked relieved, but still embarrassed. "I guess Dad's medicine is a bit strong." For the first time, Silas saw humor in the situation, and his grin clearly showed his amusement. "You, Miss Nolan, were quite drunk last night." Amy eyed him warily and asked, "What did I say?" "Ah, now that would be telling." "Silas Cameron," Amy scolded, "how dare you tease me about something so embarrassing?" Silas laughed then and assured her she had been a perfect lady. Amy did not look completely convinced, but she couldn't have been too upset, for she served him an enormous breakfast, and they talked like old friends during the meal.